Hello beautiful humans, my name is Taryn and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hate lip gloss. So it is almost the end of June, which means I've missed the middle of the year, but that's fine because we're still gonna do a middle of the year book check-in. So Sara Carrolli and Larry and a whole bunch of other booktubers, I will tag them below, have been doing this mid-year book check-in, this book tag, and I figured I would share with you some of my answers. So let's go. And I tried my ever-loving hardest not to repeat any books, even though some of these can be put into multiple categories. So if you know me and you know that like one of my favorite books of the year could have also been in the books that made me sob my ever-loving eyeballs out, like I just didn't put it twice, okay? But yeah, first one is best book you've read so far in 2023. I have 3 books here, okay? Starting off strong, we have Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. When I tell you this is the best book that I've literally ever read in my entire life, I mean it. I laughed, I cried, I sobbed, I fell in love, I got my heart broken. So many things happened in this book and it is the best thing ever. This is the last book in her Throne of Glass series and it is just utter perfection. And I started off my year with this. What was I thinking? After that, I would have to say Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. I listened to this on audio and kind of tandem read with it, and I just love this book. It talks about death and the afterlife and kind of like gives a different take on it, and it was just so cute and so wholesome and so beautiful. I highly recommend listening to the audiobook. It has longer chapters, so if you're anything like me and you don't have the attention span to listen or to read a long chapter, the audiobook is perfect. And then the last one, and this is probably no surprise to anyone who has read this book this year, and that would be Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. It's been since Kingdom of Ash that I have been transported to a fantasy world and loved every second of it. And it was just so good, so good. The magic system, the dragons, the romance subplot, everything about this was so freaking good. And if you haven't watched my Fourth Wing reading vlog, it is spoiler free. I highly recommend you watch that and see how much I sob, but such a good book. Next question is best sequel you've read in 2023. I have 2 for this one, and these are both part of a standalone series, but it's the second one in the standalone whatever. Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Do you need the most perfect romance? Because this is it. This is it. You follow Brianna and Jacob suffers from really bad social anxiety, and Brianna is going through a divorce, and them two together, it's fake dating. It's so perfect. Brianna is the perfect book girlfriend. I have never been so in love with a woman before. If you haven't read an Abby book, please do, because she is queen. I will read anything that she writes. I will read her grocery list. I will go through her trash and read whatever she has in her trash. She's perfect. This book is perfect. And then the other one is Heartless by Elsie Silver. This is the second book in the Chestnut Spring series. This follows Daddy Cade and Willa, and just it's a nanny romance. It is age gap. It is so good, so good. Willa is like this like carefree, just wild ball, and Cade is a hard-ass grumpy man, and his son is just the cutest thing ever, and it's a small town setting, cowboys. So cute. Next is a new release that I haven't read yet, but I want to, and I just kind of like went through my TBR and saw what new releases I had on my TBR and what I most anticipated to read, and the only one that I could really find, and that's because I honestly don't keep up with new releases, so I don't know what was released this year that I have on my TBR, okay? But we have In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune, and I mean, you guys heard me raving about the last book, Under the Whispering Door, and I also love The House in the Cerulean Sea by him, and this was his new release and I cannot wait to pick it up. I don't know anything about it. I love going to books blind, and this is gonna be a good one. I just know it, you know? All right, now I have most anticipated release for the second half of the year. And I have 3 main ones that I'm going to talk about, and I'll put them on the screen over here. The first one is going to be Iron Flame, which is the second book in the Fourth Wing series by Rebecca Yarros that comes out, I don't know when they all come out, so please don't ask me that question, okay? I just know that they're coming out later this year and I'm very excited for it. The second one is Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. That is the third book in the Knock 'Em Out series by her. Things We Hide from the Light and Things We Never Got Over are 2 of my favorite books from Lucy Score. Actually, every Lucy Score book is my favorite book. I love her. But Lucian and Sloane, which is what this third book is about, or who this third book is about, are the 2 characters that I have been itching to read about. I'm so excited. And then the last one is A Curse of True Love by Stephanie Garber, and that is the third book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. The second book in that series, The Ballad of Never After, it broke my heart into a million pieces. The ending, besties, oh my god, it threw me for a loop, and I'm so excited to read the third one and see how everything is brought together. Okay, next we have the biggest surprise, and I have 2 books for this one, and I feel like the first one, it makes sense as to why it was the biggest surprise. I mean, the biggest surprise because, like, literally, what was this book? What did I read, and why did I not hate it? Don't answer that question, thank you. Moving on. The next one is because I wasn't sure that I was going to love it, and that is going to be The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead. I read In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by her last year, and I didn't really like it very much at all. It was super boring to me. I couldn't really get into it. The twist was bleh. It was not it, okay? But this, literally, whoa. I was not expecting for this book to go the way it did. I will say I listened to it on audio, which I absolutely loved because it gave very true crime podcast vibes. I thoroughly enjoyed it. After I finished reading it, my best friend messaged me and she's like, what should I listen to on audio next? And I was like, absolutely this one. Pick it up right now and message me as you're reading it. And she too was like, what am I listening to? I really enjoyed it and it was a surprise to me, and I gave it 5 stars. I liked it. Anywho, next we have a new favorite author, whether that is debut or new to me, and I am going to say that is Jessa Hastings. I just finished Magnolia Parks the beginning of this week, and at first her writing, I was like, what is happening? It was like train of thought, like, what is that called, like stream of conscious? That's how her writing felt to me between the 2 characters, like you were reading literally their thought process, and it was just like, whoa. But then as I continued reading, I couldn't imagine reading this any other way. It was perfect and I'm obsessed. So yeah, Jessa Hastings, new fave author, 100%. Next we have a newest fictional crush, and you guys know I love me some book boyfriends. Daniel, Part of Your World. Daniel is the blueprint. This man and the things that he does throughout the entire book made me giddy. Like, you know how you're like reading and you like kick your little feet like, oh my god, you know, like that's, I love that you could only see my knees and you literally know what I'm talking about. I can't, thinking about him makes me so happy. So yes, Daniel from Part of Your World, Abby Jimenez. Perfect. And then the other one is Leo Hernandez from Hail Mary by Candy Steiner. This man, the things this man says, the things this man does made me blush so hard. And Mary is a plus size queen and he loves every single bit of her. You know? And then my last one, I don't have the physical copy with me, so I'm gonna put it up here. That is going to be Theo Silva from Reckless by Elsie Silver. That is her newest release. I was lucky enough to get an ARC last month and I would die for that man. Oh my god. Now let me tell you, everyone that I've ever talked to hates the mistaken pregnancy trope. Hates it. Not a single one of those people hates it in this book. Not a single one. Theo as a dad. Perfect. God, isn't it so sad when you realize these men are fictional? All right, a book that made me cry. If you just watched my last video on my reading vlog of A Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, you will know that I sobbed the entire time the whole book from chapter 5 till the end. I was crying. So here we go. I can't honestly think about it without tearing up. So it was my first time reading it. It was hard. And I do recommend reading it if you've never read it before. I also never watched the movie, so I like went in blind and it ruined my life. And another one, which is kind of weird, but I'm just a baby. A Happy Place by Emily Henry. The last 100 pages, I was gasping for air because I was crying so hard. Something about best friends growing up, growing apart, hits home, and I don't like it, so I cried. Now, on the opposite side of that, those are books that made me cry. Next, we have books that made me happy. And I have two of my rereads here, which could be kind of a cop-out because I did read them last year, but I reread them again this year. And those rereads just made me like the happiest little munchkin in the world, okay? So, It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. Getting to reread this and tab it, amazing. Piper and Brendan are two of my favorite characters of all time and will always be, and I love them. And I cannot wait to do my reread of Hook, Line, and Sinker after this because that is also just going to bring me the most happiness in the entire ever, okay? And then my other reread is Beach Read by Emily Henry, and I don't know which characters I love more, okay? Because Augustus and January, Gus, I love this book as well. It's so perfect. It's so perfect. Look at those tabs that I got to do. Can you see them? They both made me very happy, even though, yeah, I cried in both of them. Next we have, and I'm gonna read it off my screen because I'm not gonna remember this. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. Now, I took this two different ways, okay? I took this as like beautiful cover and as just like the most beautiful book, because Sarah did it the same way and I love her. This is like not cover wise, even though it's a pretty cover or whatever, but this book, Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman, is devastatingly beautiful. I want to reiterate the devastating part. Devastatingly beautiful. The writing, the plot, the story, the love, the ache, the pain, everything about this book I loved. And going off of this, please check triggers if you're ever gonna read it. This is the most beautiful cover that I have right now, and I'm a dark cover fan, okay? This is Lotus by Jennifer Hartman, which they do kind of go hand in hand because this character is kind of mentioned at the end of this. I have not read this one yet, but I love the cover and I can't wait to figure out the meaning behind this because it's gonna break me. I just feel it. All right, and the last question we have is, what books do you need to read by the end or before the end of this year? And I have quite a bit. And the reason that I have quite a bit is because one of my goals this year was to finish any series that I started. So I'm only talking about those books that I need to finish. I'm not even talking about other books that like I want to finish. I'm solely talking about the books in the series that I still need to finish. I hope any of that made sense. Okay, first we have The Hand on the Wall and The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. This is a part of the Truly Devious series and I need to finish it. I don't know why I stopped reading them. I read the first two and I haven't continued on, even though I do like them. They're cute little YA mysteries and I really enjoyed the first two, so I need to continue on. Then we have, and these are only the physical copies that I have because there's obviously books that I haven't bought yet, but we have Savage Bonds and Blood Bonds by J. Bree. This is a part of the Bonds That Tie series. I've only read the first one. It was okay, but I've heard that the series just keeps getting better and better and better, and I already have books 2 and 3, so I have to keep reading them. I think there's 6 books in the series, so I should probably get to reading them now. Next we have Glint by Raven Kennedy. This is the second book in the Plated Prisoner series. There's 4, and this series, so the first one is Guild, and I read that, I don't know, January, February, and again, it was okay, but everyone is telling me how much the series reminds them of ACOTAR. I'm not seeing it yet, besties, but people say that it really starts in this book, so again, I just need to pick it up. We have The Legacy by Elle Kennedy. I don't know why I've been putting this off for so long. It's like I don't want this series to ever end. This is part of the Off-Campus series. These characters were like such a huge part of when I started reading that I don't ever want it to end, but if my goal this year is to finish reading every series that I've started, I need to just pick this one up and read it. It's about like all of the couples that we've met throughout the 4 other books, and I just don't want it to be done. Okay, I don't. I started my reread of the Percy Jackson series, but I only read the first one, so I need to finish reading this series. So yeah, Percy Jackson by Rick Riordan. We have 2, 3, 4, and 5 to finish, which, I mean, these are such easy books to read, so that shouldn't be an issue. I have the last book in the Shadow Me series. This is Imagine Me by Tahereh Mafi, and again, it's just one of those things where, like, I don't want the series to end. When this is over, I'm not gonna read about Warner anymore. I don't know that I can live in a life like that, so we're putting it off. And then the last 3 are the Magnolia Parks universe series. I don't know, but we have Daisy Hates Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home and Daisy Hates The Great Undoing by Jessa Hastings. And I know I'm gonna get through all 3 of these so quick, but that absolutely terrifies me because I'm gonna get my heart broken so many times. It's bound to happen. Okay, well, that's the end of the tag. Those are all of my answers. I'm gonna leave the questions down below, so if anybody wants to answer them, they are easy to be found. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I post my next video. Make sure to leave in the comments down below what has been your favorite read of 2023, because I'm nosy. I hope you have an amazing day, night, week, month, and year. I love ya, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, beautiful humans.